What's up, guys? This is a OU battle against Ronald from Team Aqua, and I decided to mix my team up a bit. My entire defensive core is Umbreon, Torkoal, and Skarmory. I don't really think of Torkoal as part of my defensive core, but he is a defensive Pokemon, so I guess I have to consider him in there. And my Charizard does have a Salic Berry, I believe this one does, and so I did ask him beforehand if that was okay. And he's chill, so he said yes. Okay, so the battle begins, and I lead with Mineshaw because he was just basically my best lead, good for scouting. And I'm predicting an Ice Shard, but I just go for a Fake Out just to see what he's going to do. And he decides to stay in, so I'm really thinking he is going to Ice Shard. But he doesn't, so I just go straight for a high jump kick, and I make it a 6-5 lead. That was a nice way to start. I was kind of surprised that he just let it go so easily. And I really don't need Mineshaw, and I was predicting an extreme speed, but like I said, I didn't feel like I really needed Mineshaw all that bad. But later out, I really realized I did. So I was kind of mad at myself for doing that, but whatever. So right now I go to Charizard, and I'm really trying to threaten him out that I'm going to use a fire attack, but he does not fall for it, and he just goes for an extreme speed. So I go for a sub, and that's not enough to get into Salic range. But I just go for a fire punch, and he does an extreme speed again, which was a bit surprising. And I'm Charizard took out Lucario, which was the only thing I was really afraid of on his team. So I'm really not all that disappointed that he didn't get to sweep. But oh well. He goes for a Will-O-Wisp, I guess predicting I'd switch, but Charizard is useless to me more or less. I could actually probably Wish Pass back to it and get it back up to full health, but I wasn't really thinking about that. I was, at this point in the game, I was thinking Charizard's just worthless to me, so I might as well just keep punching, maybe hope for burn hacks or a crit. And I actually did get a crit, so hey, that's cool. He Volt switches out though, and he breaks my sub. And he goes straight to his Jelly Scent, and so I just go for an Earthquake. Again, I'm not really wanting Charizard anymore. I'm feeling he's useless. So he goes for a Scald, and that will be enough to KO me from there. And so now I'm going to send in Umbreon, I think. That way I can make him burn himself, and I can sponge his special attacks. So I'm pretty sure I go for a Wish first turn, because that's normally what I do. But actually I instead just go straight for a Payback, because I didn't really need a Wish. But I popped his Air Balloon, so that's good. But actually I don't think I had any more Earthquakes. But I go to Skarmory, hoping this isn't an agility set, and it's not, so that's good. He's lowering his speed, but that just means that if I Roost, he's going to be doing more damage. So I see he can't do a whole lot to me, so I just go for my first layers. Actually, no, I don't have spikes on this set. I just Roost that off, because I was willing to take more damage from him. I was willing to stand there all day. So I wouldn't want to Whirlwind, and I don't have spikes to set those up. Actually, I think that ended up winning me the game. Okay, but I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to go to Umbreon, because I know he's not going to trick or anything, and he's most likely going to Will-O-Wisp. And he does Will-O-Wisp, so I get that Synchronize off, and I burn his Rotom, which will be helping me out a lot. It's always good to have a little bit of damage going. And since I don't carry Toxic normally on pretty much any Pokemon, uh, Burn's the way to go. So, I believe I Heal Bell this turn. I might wish, but I think I do just go straight for the Heal Bell. Yeah, I go for the Heal Bell. So now he knows he can't really touch my Umbreon, and I'm expecting he's just going to go for another Hammer Arm, but I Protect just to see what's going on. And he does, so that means I can go to Skarmory. And I'm thinking he's like Bandit or something, because I haven't seen him switch moves. So I just go to, actually, okay, I go to Torkoal actually, because that means he can't use Earthquake. Because I know I can take a Hammer Arm. So right away I just decide to set up, actually I think I Yawn first. That's something I normally do, because I expected him to switch. So I do Yawn, and he puts up Stealth Rock, which reveals to me that he is not Banded or Scarfed, but putting Scarf with Hammer Arm would be kind of silly. So he just goes for Meteor Mash this turn, and he was talking to me in the chat, and he goes, "How did I fall asleep?" So obviously he missed that I used Yawn, and I used Yawn again just in case he wanted to switch. That way his counter to Torkoal wouldn't be able to stay in, like his #1 counter, because that's what I like to do. So this turn I think I go for a Rapid Spin, because he doesn't have a spin blocker. Okay, no, I switch out. And I go to Dugtrio because I was hoping that I could trap it, but I'm not able to, which was a bit unfortunate. And so since this guy has Levitate, not only can I not Arena Trap him, I can't hurt him at all because Earthquake is my only attack on this particular set. So I have to switch him out. Not going to be doing a whole lot. And Umbreon is my main answer to this thing, so I'm just going to bring in Umbreon, and he missed his Hydro Pump, which means I probably could have set up a sub and then started to Sand Attack him until he has to switch out, and then after he switched out, he'd be stuck. So honestly, I probably could have stayed in there and done work with Dugtrio, but how am I supposed to predict a Hydro Pump missing? So I go for a Wish this turn. After he uses Pain Split, he was like, "Dude, you'll never guess my last move," as I talk to him and tell him I know his whole set, and he's just like, dang. So he has no reason to keep Pain Split secret anymore because I know he has it. So he goes for Will-O-Wisp this turn, and my Synchronize activates, but he's already been burnt, so it's not going to do anything. So this turn, I'd go for a Wish again, because I always like to have a Wish up when Umbreon's in, since I can't just one turn heal whenever I want. So, like if I had Moonlight, which I do like my Moonlight set, but I'm running Wish here. And he goes into Jolteon, and he's like, Evolution Fight. That's why he brought in Jolteon, and I'm like, bro, I can take Jolteons. And so I'm thinking, hey, maybe I should go to Dugtrio again. But I'm like, nah, that's too predictable. I'll just stay in. And then he uses Charge Beam, and I'm like, oh, crap, I definitely should have gone to Dugtrio. So, this next turn coming up, I do go to Dugtrio, and he does not use Charge Beam again. And I was like, ah, crap. He definitely outpredicted me that time. But he was like, oh, cool, I didn't even think Dugtrio was coming in. So I was like, oh, seriously, I just lost Dugtrio for nothing. And I was like so angry. So I go to Torkoal, since I don't think I have Jolteon with me. I don't remember, honestly. But yeah, I go to Torkoal, hoping I can live a hit or he'll do something nubbish and I'll be able to yawn it. This was definitely like a terrible play. I really was not thinking there. So I just go to Umbreon and I go for a payback. Actually, I don't know if I wish this turn, but I'm like, you know what, I can probably just kill it with payback. So First turn I wish, and so that means next turn I use payback and KO it. So I was really, really mad at myself for both giving up Torkoal and Dugtrio for nothing. I was actually scared when he used Charge Beam that uh, it ended up sweeping my whole team. But obviously I was wrong and I got scared for nothing. And through my panic, I sacked 2 Pokemon that I definitely should not have. So that didn't go too very well for me, and his Jolteon definitely messed with my team quite a bit, and it made this battle go on a lot longer than it should have. So I go straight out to Skarmory, and he's asleep. So I'm like, if you're just gonna stay asleep, I can take advantage of that. So first I go for Brave Bird, predicting that he'd switch to Rotom, but he doesn't. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I didn't really lose whole much there. I mean, a turn of sleep, but honestly, our Metagross isn't going to be doing crap to my team anyway until Skarmory's gone. So I go for Swords Dance this turn, and since I showed him Swords Dance, I'm going to be predicting that he will switch out to Rotom again. So this turn I go for another Brave Bird because as soon as, really, Rotom's like the only thing. No, I go for Roost. But Rotom really is the only thing keeping me from winning this game. I think at this point, Metagross and Rotom are his only 2 left. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember. But he gets a crit on the Roost, so he puts me down at 12 health points. That was rather scary. But I know I can recover more and more health from Roost because on a Roost his Hammer Arm is not quite doing half damage. So as long as he doesn't get a crit, I'm fine. But he starts to be more careful with his Hammer Arms because he starts to run low and he wants to save them for the right time. So I'm forced to just keep roosting up here. And I believe this turn he goes for a Meteor Mash. Not sure why. No, he just goes for a Hammer Arm. And he misses. So that means I have a turn at this amount of health that I can just set up another Swords Dance as his Hammer Arm doesn't do a whole lot to me due to me not roosting that turn. So this turn, I'm like, he's been staying in on me this whole time. I think I can get another Swords Dance off. So I go for another Swords Dance. I'm pretty sure I go for another Swords Dance. Yeah, I go for another Swords Dance as he sends in Jellicent. And I'm like, really? Jellicent? You realize I'm at +6 now, and I was at +4 beforehand. And that means Skarmory's nearing 600 attack with a stab-boosted Brave Bird. I'm sorry, but now that I'm at +6, there's really no chance Jellicent's going to live at all. In fact, at +4, I really don't think Jellicent could have lived. Maybe if it was like fully defensively invested, but again, I still don't know Jellicent's bulk all that well. I don't really use one. So really the chances of Jellicent living, like I'm not sure where I went to Jellicent basically is what I'm trying to say. There's really nothing he could get out of that. So now he sends in Rotom, which was the right choice to do. And I go to Umbreon to sponge that and to set up a wish and to protect and all that good stuff. So this first turn I do wish, and he goes for a Hydro Pump, and it is not enough to hit KO. And since I have Protect, I'm going to be able to get everything back. And I don't know why, but for some reason, he was just staying in a little longer than most people do, and it was kind of messing with me. So I Protect this turn, and he Pain Splits, which, oh, wow. I didn't even catch that he pain splitted when we actually had this battle. But oh man, if he would have pain splitted and I would have paybacked, that probably could have been nearing the end of Rotom. So now that I look back on it, that protect was a bit unfortunate. But now he stays in and goes for another Hydro Pump. And that's really what I was meaning by staying in a little bit longer than most people do. But, you know, it really does work to his advantage because now I'm going to be switching out at an awkward time when it's not too convenient to me. But then he stays in again, so I was like, what are you doing? Why are you staying in on me? You can't touch me. But, you know, I was like, I'm cool with it because you're just going to end up stalling yourself out of Hydro Pumps, and then you won't even be able to really touch my Skarmory because since he's not, I don't think he's got a whole lot into his special attack. I would be able to easily just roost off, and possibly even, if it was a lot, I know from most standard Rotom sets, I can, at full health, I can live with like 50 HP left, a Volt Switch. But like I said, I don't think this Rotom is running too heavily in special attack, so I think I could probably live a little bit better than that. And since he would be Volt Switching out, once he's out of Hydro Pumps, really I can pretty much just take on his Rotom with the Skarmory. So he Volt Switches this turn, and he goes out to Metagross, and of course that's going to threaten me out, but I do believe the first time I do protect, you know, just to see if he really wants to Hammer Arm again and to PP stall a little bit more. So I get my wish back, and I get my lefties, and I protect. And here he goes for a Meteor Mash, which was a bit unexpected. But, you know, it really doesn't matter to me. So I go to Skarmory, and he decides to just stay in on Skarmory and go for a Meteor Mash. And because of this, I'm going to be able to live and then roost off damage like I did last time. So I roost, get back up to health, and he only has 2 Hammer Arms left, so he's really trying to save those. So he goes for another Meteor Mash, hoping for an attack raise, I guess. But, you know, really, if he does get an attack raise, I'm just going to end up using Whirlwind anyway. So now that I've got half health, I go for a Swords Dance as he goes for a Hammer Arm, predicting another Roost. And so there goes one of his Hammer Arms. And now I'm at +2, which means I'm near 400 attack. So he goes for Bullet Punch this turn, not sure why. But I just go for a Roost, and I'm going to get some health back. And I really want to be at full health just in case his Rotom does come back in again. But, you know, really I don't want to end up sacking Skarmory to Rotom and then leave my Umbreon with Metagross. So I go for a Brave Bird just to see what 400 attack with a stab Brave Bird will do. And it doesn't do as much as I would have liked. So I go for another Swords Dance, and I probably should have attacked again because I think that would leave him with enough, like just barely any health, and that means I could Brave Bird, and since he'd have a little health, I would take a little damage, which would mean once Rotom comes in, I could finish that. So I don't actually do it though. Don't know what I was thinking. I was kind of slapping myself for that. So now I'm like, oh crap, this isn't good. With near half health, Brave Bird's going to be doing quite a bit of damage to me, more than I'm going to be wanting it to do to me, maybe near enough that Rotom will be able to finish me off. So I roost up, and he uses Stealth Rock. Not sure if that was a misclick or if he was just trying to stall me out or what. So this turn I was like, gotta do my Brave Bird, and it's one of those moments where I'm thinking, wouldn't it just be great if he switches? And then I'm like, nah, they'd never do that. So he does actually switch, so I get his Rotom out of there pretty much for free. And now all he has left is Metagross, and I can definitely KO that now with a +6 Brave Bird. So yeah, Swords Dance definitely saved me the game there. So yay for unique sets. This was my first time using it, so I don't know. I may be using it again, but I do kind of like my stealth. Actually, my spike support since I don't run Stealth Rock on Skarmory. I think that's a bit lame to do. If you're going to run entry hazards, you might as well run spikes since Skarmory normally stays in for a while, so he's able to set up more spikes. Plus, spikes users are more rare. Anyway, that was the game. Hope you guys enjoyed. You should check out his channel and Team Aqua both. I will leave both those links in the description for you. See you later.